Okay, hi again. Welcome back. On today's deep dive on what makes them magnetic, we are going to do it on somebody that's really special for me. She's from Quebec, and I was born in Quebec, so we have this. I just feel her 1,000% because I understand the mindset here in Quebec, and it's not easy. It'll be a good episode. So welcome back, and today we're just going to do it on Nelly Arcan.
Nelly Arcan, bonsoir.
Bonsoir.
Belge. Non. Québécoise.
Oui.
Ah, c'est pas loin. Mais pas loin. Comme Céline Dion. Est-ce que vous aimez Céline Dion?
Non, pas beaucoup. Pas beaucoup, je dois admettre.
Bravo. Vous êtes né en 1975 au Québec.
Oui.
Et vous publiez au Seuil un livre intitulé Putain.
Oui, tout à fait.
C'est comment on fait?
This is gonna be good, okay? Because there's a lot about her that we need to decode because she was ahead of her time. She studied literature in Montreal. She was immersed in language, in thoughts, and meaning, but at the same time, she entered a completely different world. She worked as an escort. Here in Quebec, she is a really well-known author. She wrote 2 books that are famous here, and before doing all of that, she was an escort for many years. And this is where something very important begins. She was not just living experiences, she was analyzing them in real time. She really had an eye for beauty. Because of her escort world, she saw beauty as currency and she really studied beauty. She was inside the system of desire, beauty, projection, while also watching it with almost surgical clarity. Out of that tension came her first novel, Putain. The book is deeply inspired by her life. It is raw, repetitive, obsessive, almost like a mind speaking without filters. I read like a first part of the book. It's in French, but you can buy it in English, obviously. And the book is so intense. It's like you're literally living what she went through. But she says that what she talks about in her book is not necessarily what she experienced. It's just a vivid and huge imagination, and I liked it. Through it, she exposed the psychological reality of being desired, of performing femininity, of being seen constantly through the gaze of others, and the book made her instantly known in Quebec. But fame did not simplify her life, it amplified everything. She became a public figure. She appeared on television. People focused on her beauty, her past, her image. Some were fascinated. Some misunderstood her. A lot of people misunderstood her. And a lot of people reduced her to a stereotype. But underneath that, she kept writing. Her books like Folle continued exploring obsession, love, identity, and the inner tension between how we are seen and who we feel we are. Her life became a constant intersection between 2 worlds, the external world, where she was seen, judged, desired, and her internal world, where she was thinking, questioning, and trying to understand beauty, aura, all of that. It was really intense for her. From Quebec, the mentality of the people here, I'm looking gonna cry because I just get it. But because when someone is that aware, she was so aware of everything, how the men would react when a pretty girl was around them, how would other girls react when men saw another pretty girl. She was so obsessed with the science behind it, behind beauty, how people treat you when you're beautiful, how people don't treat you when you're not beautiful. She really, really, really was obsessed with this work, and that's why she keeps talking about it in her books. When someone is that aware, they feel everything more sharply, the beauty, the attention, but also the contradiction, the pressure, the loneliness that can exist behind admiration. Over time, she became more than just a writer. She became a symbol of something much deeper, the modern relationship between beauty, identity, and perception.
Pour des prix littéraires?
En fait, j'en avais aucune idée. Je sentais qu'il y avait une certaine valeur, que mon texte avait une certaine valeur littéraire, mais que ce soit, que ça se retrouve dans des listes pour de si grands prix, ça m'étonne beaucoup parce que c'est quand même une grande reconnaissance, même si il n'y a pas de prix en bout de ligne. On considère quand même mon texte comme pouvant remporter ce prix.
Donc vous êtes toute jeune, vous avez quel âge, si je peux vous le demander?
J'ai 26 ans.
Oui. Et donc, vous réalisez en ce moment un rêve. Votre rêve, c'était d'être écrivain, d'être prise au sérieux pour votre écriture. Et ça, est-ce que vous voyez maintenant que c'est accompli, en tout cas, cette phase-là du rêve?
Oui, oui, tout à fait. C'est en train de s'accomplir et ça va continuer certainement.
Bon, alors vous avez un parcours tout à fait étonnant.
Even though her life was complex and sometimes really heavy, what remains is not just her story, it is the imprint she left. Because she didn't just live her life, she revealed something about all of us through it. And that is where her aura truly begins. I want to cry because she sadly passed away by suicide. Oh, I wish I would have met her. She was ahead of her time. She was truly ahead of her time. She knew what she was doing. She was following her inner center and her core self, and she was acting from it. And when I tell you, people in Quebec, their mentality is harsh. People in Quebec, they just, when you think outside the box, when you're really pretty, when you stand out, they want to bring you down. They want to tear you down.
Et les femmes aussi consomment leur propre féminité. Puis c'est comme, j'ai l'impression qu'on vit dans une espèce de monde de Big Brother, où il y a toujours le regard qui finalement nous commande d'être toujours très belle. Et quand on se voit en photo, on perd le contrôle de son image.
Mais vous le dénoncez, mais en même temps, vous l'entretenez.
Oui, si j'en parle tout le temps,
Je suis
c'est
certain
parce
qu'il y a plusieurs auditeurs qui consomment votre féminité présentement.
Ben, oui.
Il y a même des panélistes.
Not allowed to be an independent thinker. You're not allowed to have something that's outside of a traditional path. You're just not allowed. The mindset here is insane. I personally cannot wait to get out of there. Like, I'm planning to move to New York City soon, but I just want you to really understand and be in her body. So when people feel the presence of Nelly Arcan, they were not reacting to one single thing. It was a constellation, several forces moving through the same person at once. When those forces align in someone, the atmosphere around them becomes charged. People feel it because they understand it. Many of the earlier points belong to the same deeper roots. If we gather them into their true cores, her magnetism becomes clear. So this was my beautiful introduction on Nelly Arcan. Now I want to go really deep dive into what made her super magnetic and what made her stand out the way she is today. So we're gonna first start with her physique and visual presence. When you look at her, she is extremely beautiful. I'm literally like, wow. Her eyes, her blue eyes, her skin, her blonde, beautiful hair, her thin body, her big breast. She was just so, like, she was looking like a Barbie doll, literally. She was so beautiful. And her eye contact it's strong. Like, when she looks at you, she will look at you for a long time, all sexy, all feminine. Oh my god, such a beauty, really. She had beautiful curves. She just knew how to look. Exactly. She had a powerful vision on how she wanted to look, and she did whatever it takes to get there. I know she did surgeries, not a lot of them, but like, I think only her boobs, just enough for her to really stand out, but not in an excessive way. She embodied a hyper feminine ideal, but what made it different was this: she knew she was embodying it. Nothing felt unconscious, but honestly, I believe that even if it was unconscious, she would have still been super magnetic and beautiful. She had a vision and she did everything to achieve that vision, which made her even more magnetic. Nelly Arcan had a beauty that didn't feel accidental. Everything was intentional, everything was literally perfect. Her beauty was not just something she had, it was something she was aware of, shaped and inhabited fully. And she's the type of girl, like, who wants men to look at her. She said so in her interview, like, I want men, I want you to look at me.
Avez-vous une volonté de séduction?
Oui, c'est réel, mais...
Mais c'est pas mal. Pas
mais
du
non,
tout.
c'est pas...
On parle pas de bien ou de mal, on parle de
C'est
séduction.
pas mal, c'est juste que, en fait, ça m'intéresse, ça m'obsède, ça m'obnubile. Puis je pense que tous les écrivains sont traversés par des obsessions, et donc je travaille constamment là-dessus dans mon écriture.
Et qu'est-ce que les hommes ont de plus intéressant que les femmes?
Je trouve que les hommes s'amusent plus. Ils sont plus relax, justement. Je trouve que les femmes sont...
Pourquoi dans les restaurants, c'est juste les filles qui rient?
Il y a beaucoup plus de femmes dans les restaurants, c'est ce que j'ai remarqué. Mais,
Donc, vous y allez moins?
non, je vais quand même au restaurant. Mais ça appartient au livre, là, quand même. Il faut faire la différence. C'est pas le même registre, là.
I know from another perspective it sounds crazy, but who hates having attention? Maybe for some people, but honestly, as a woman, or even if you're a guy watching this, who hates feeling desired and having attention from stranger? I love it. I love when men look at me and they just want me, even though they're not saying anything. I love it. But who doesn't want to be desired? And she studied it. She was obsessed with the science of like, but why are men looking at those type of women? Why are they ignoring other types of women? And she became the type of woman where men would want her, look at her, and desire her. She became her. Why does this create magnetism? With Nelly Arcan, the difference was subtle but powerful. Most people hope to be seen as beautiful, and because of that, their energy quietly is reaching outward, wondering how they are being perceived. She was completely different. She knew she was being seen, and she was completely at ease within that awareness. Instead of asking, do they find me beautiful? Her present felt like, I see that I'm being looked at, and I chose how I exist in this moment. She was low-key happy about it. Average people, they're always questioning, am I okay? Is my hair okay? Are they looking at me? Always questioning everything and doubting everything. Just know people are looking at you the way you are, and let them look at you. Even if it's to say something so negative, who cares? Let them look at you. So her beauty didn't feel fragile or dependent of approval. Never make your beauty dependent of approval. Never. The moment something is dependent of the external world of approval validation, it is worth nothing, because you're telling me the power you get is only when somebody else approves it instead of you approving it. And when something feels that certain, people naturally trust it and are drawn in. She wasn't just beautiful, she was aware of her beauty and rooted in it. And that's what made it feel like power. So how to implement this? Have a vision, go on Pinterest, go on Tumblr, go wherever you want to go. Look up the most magnetic version of yourself. It could be literally a woman that looks like you. Download the pictures on your phone and every day work to look like her. Not like her, but like a version of you that's beautiful and magnetic, like her, for example. She did that. She had an idea of how she wanted to become, and she did it. She even did some surgery to get there, so do whatever it takes, but don't kill yourself, please. I looked at her interview, and she's like in the present moment. She's there, she's being attentive, she's listening to people when they talk to her. She's really being in the room, being in her body.
Français le classe au premier rang des recommandations d'achat sur plus de 300 titres.
Je suis contente qu'on me reconnaisse une écriture. Je suis contente de ce frémissement, c'est inespéré. Puis, dans ce sens-là, ça a valu la peine que j'écrive cette horreur.
Horreur, car le livre de Nelly Arcan est un cri de haine lancé.
Like I told you, the Quebec mentality, also when you go on TV shows here, good luck. I want to quickly talk about the Quebec mentality before just explaining further. In Quebec, when you are up, they want to bring you down and they want to laugh at you. They also love to trigger you, say some stuff that they know are going to trigger you, even if before you set up your boundaries. On this interview, she was talking with this host, and this host kept talking about her being an escort, and you saw how visibly she felt about it, a bit of shame and a bit of sadness.
Pourquoi vous avez fait ça, vous, prostituée?
Je veux pas entrer là-dedans. Ça serait trop long. Je préfère parler. Je préfère parler de mon texte, mais je crois que j'avais envie de me réapproprier quelque chose. J'avais tellement laissé partir de moi et j'avais envie de dire, ben vous ne m'avez pas eu parce qu'au fond, vous n'avez jamais su ce que je pensais de vous. Et puisque j'ai jamais su insulter les gens verbalement et que je suis toujours restée très gentille et obéissante, je me suis en quelque sorte vengée.
Si vous vous vengez des hommes que vous avez d'une certaine façon méprisés?
Pas seulement des hommes, parce que je déteste pas les hommes, c'est-à-dire...
Non, je parle de vos clients, là.
Oui, c'est-à-dire c'est la masse, c'est le défilement de la succession, alors qu'on peut, dans certains cas, comme chez Catherine Millet, en trouver une source de jouissance, alors que là, la narratrice se perd parce qu'elle cherche des limites à cet excès, à cette illimité. Elle cherche Elle veut que ça s'arrête et elle sait pas comment parce qu'elle est un peu piégée là-dedans.
And even she was she told the host, like, I'm here to promote my book. But the host was like, yeah, but why were you an escort? All these rude questions. To sit there and disregard someone's boundaries just so you can feel better about yourself is just completely stupid. And I was so sad. They treated her poorly. They treated her poorly. And you could see in that interview that her presence was shaken by those questions. You could have seen when that woman was asking her those questions and she felt shameful and sad. She was looking down instead of looking at her in the eyes like she did at the beginning. And what I love about her is that she stayed, she felt those emotions. And after they passed through her body, because that's how emotion works, she left her head and she was like, yeah, it's okay. She's a human being. It's okay. So one thing that I love about her is that she is so powerful. A lot of people would have crashed out and leave that immediately, but she stayed and she let it pass and she moved on to the next question. So her movements were minimal, her posture calm, her gaze steady and almost penetrating. She wasn't looking at people to be approved or validated. She was looking while fully being there. That's where the magnetism deepens, because for most people, when they feel discomfort, they leave themselves. They go to their mind. They just are full of doubt, full of worry, and you can just feel that energy being scattered. They start overthinking, adjusting, trying to recover the image, but she didn't fully abandon herself in those moments. Something in her stayed anchored. And that is why it is so magnetic, because her energy stayed gathered. Attention is energy, and most people's attention is constantly leaking into other people's opinion, into anxiety, into self monitoring. It creates a fragment presence. With her, even when emotion moved through her, her attention didn't fully break apart. It stayed mostly centered in her body, in her gaze, in her voice. That creates a feeling of density. It's like there's more of her there, and people are naturally drawn to where energy feels concentrating. And it also creates a subtle sense of safety and tension at the same time. Safety because she is grounded, tension because her gaze and stillness hold you there. And that combination is deeply magnetic. So, how can you implement this in your life? Be okay by being in your body. Be okay to be a human in front of people. You're gonna have bad times. You're gonna have people like judging you and criticizing you, even if it's in front of millions of people. Be okay with it because it's part of life. It's human. And don't retreat yourself. Feel those emotions, even when they hurt. Feel them. Feel them. They're gonna pass. It's like you're the sun, and these emotions are cloud passing in front of the sun. Yes, they're hiding and you see darkness, but once the cloud is passing, you see the light shine after. Feel those emotions, be a human, and come back to yourself. You're always, always there, even when you don't see it. I also want to add that Nelly was always slow. She was really intentional with the way she moved her body and the way she talked. And it creates magnetism because you're never in a hurry. You're fully feeling and experiencing life the way it is. One other thing that made her really magnetic is her voice, her speech, and her way of expressing herself. Because she studied literature and she's a well-known writer, her language, her vocabulary when she was speaking, whoo, she is so intelligent. Like you see her and you can feel intelligence leaving her body. She was so intelligent. The way she would communicate her ideas and the words she would use, like she would never tone it down for anyone, not even the host, not even the strangers looking at her. She would never tone it down. She would always express herself the way she wanted to express herself. And wow, it was so magnetic because not only you're beautiful, you have a nice body, but you're also extremely intelligent. And the way you express yourself is it's high, like it's good. Like a lot of people could never express themselves like her. Really, really made her stand out even more. And I totally respect that because you can see she was following her true mission here on earth, being a writer. It's amazing. Why is this powerful? Because it feels like her truth is being processed, not performed. It shows she isn't chasing attention. She is fully inhabiting the moment of speaking. So her voice was really soft, slow, and controlled. She didn't rush to fill the space, and she allowed silence to exist between her words. Her vocabulary was precise, her phrasing was really intentional, and the way she expressed herself felt alive. like you were hearing her thoughts unfold in real time. Sometimes she repeated herself, circling her ideas, staying in the same thought, not out of uncertainty, but to explore it fully and to let it land. She really had this ideology of like beauty and her expressing herself. So, how to implement really like find your skills. If you know you're good at reading, read more. If you know you're good at speaking, speak more. Like, whatever your skills are, get to learn them and really perfectionate them too. Don't rush to fill the silence or to prove yourself. You never need to prove yourself. Allow your words to unfold naturally, repeated ideas if needed to fully express them, and let your audience feel the truth in your process. That stillness draws people in naturally. Next, we have her fantasy self. She was both the fantasy people project onto, and she was also the one quietly analyzing it. The beauty, the desire, the allure. They existed fully, yet she was always aware of what it meant, what it stirred in others, and even what it stirred in herself. She didn't let herself be seen into a single image. She held both the surface and the consciousness behind it.
Nelly Arcan.
Quand on se donne à une femme d'expérience, quand elle vous prend avec son sixième sens.
Bonsoir Nelly, bienvenue à Tout le monde en parle.
Merci.
Vous publiez votre 3e roman, À ciel ouvert, qui raconte la guerre impitoyable que se livrent 2 filles pour l'amour d'un homme. Encore une fois, il est question du culte de la beauté, de la peur de vieillir, de chirurgie plastique et du désir maladif de plaire à tout prix, des thèmes très présents dans vos précédents romans, Putain et folle. Vous êtes très préoccupé par votre...
So the reason why this created magnetism is because the mind cannot reduce her to one category. People are drawn to what is layered, complex, and impossible to fully understand at first glance. That tension between what is seen and what is felt creates fascination. So how to implement it? Allow yourself to embrace multiple dimensions at once: strength and softness, desire and analysis, confidence and vulnerability. Don't force yourself to be one thing to be understood. Let your complexity exist naturally. When you hold these layers without collapsing them, you become intriguing simply by being yourself, and people are drawn to explore the depth you embody. So, on the following point, she spoke openly about things most people hide: desire, loneliness, validation, image, emptiness, sex, beauty. She didn't soften her expression to make others feel comfortable, even when the topics made people uneasy. In Quebec, especially in media spaces like Montreal, there's a culture dynamic where people often respond with irony, teasing, or even subtle cruelty. Interviewers sometimes push boundaries intentionally. They want to test you, expose discomfort, or make you feel embarrassed or judged. For many, this creates tension, but she didn't fully shrink or retreat. Even when moments of sadness or shame or discomfort appeared, she always returned to herself grounded and present. And this creates aura because speaking truthfully stabilizes energy. There is nothing to maintain, nothing to fake, no mask to hold. When someone fully expresses what is real to them, their presence is cohesive and magnetic. The energy doesn't scatter, it resonates. And from my own thoughts too, it's like somebody that's telling the truth, even if you hardly disagree, it takes a lot of respect because not everybody's able to do it. And at that time, like, she was saying so much truth that people would refuse to see. They would refuse to see. But now when you look back to what she was saying, bro, she was right. And all the people in the crowd disagreeing with her today are literally like, yeah, she's right. So how to implement it? Start by being willing to express your truth, even in small ways that feels risky. Notice where you soften or hide parts of yourself to make others feel comfortable, and practice letting them exist instead. When people push, test, judge, don't shrink, never shrink, let them do it. That's their problem. That's their problem. Allow yourself to feel, acknowledge it internally, and return to your center. It is never because of you, it is always because of them. You're just like a mirror. You reflect their own ideas, their own problems. Speak from your real perception, not from what you think people want to hear. Never do that. People who talk to say what you think you want them to hear, it's just like you're acting like a a follower. You're acting like a follower. Why do you care so much if they're gonna like what you say? At the end of the day, who cares? They might even turn their back on you and then judge you behind their back. Like, it's just not authentic. It's just not you. Stop acting that way. Over time, the steadiness and honesty creates a magnetic presence that stays with people the same way she left a lasting imprint in every room she entered. On the next point, she was ahead of her time. I keep saying it, but she was. She was expressing ideas long before most people were ready to hear them about beauty standards, desire, identity, the gaze, and the complexity of female experience. She didn't follow trends or shape herself to fit popular opinion. She moved from a deeper current of truth, one that existed ahead of her time, that gave her energy a timeless, most prophetic quality. People sensed it. She wasn't moving with the crowd. She was never following the mass. She was moving from something beyond it, and that created curiosity, respect, and subtle awe. There is also something about hearing a truth before we fully understand it ourselves. It feels refreshing, like a seed that later blossomed in our own experience. She was misunderstood all the time and dismissed. The people in the crowd was looking at her like this.
Pas le projet de mon texte que de faire l'étalement de scènes sexuelles. C'était plutôt d'énoncer un discours de haine, de tristesse, de désespoir.
Some reduce her to a scandalous figure, missing the philosophical and reflective dimension of her work. But when someone is not easily understood, something magnetic happens. Mystery grows, and the story around them deepens. Over time, as people return to her work, they realize there is far more beneath the surface than they initially perceived. This creates aura because she existed ahead of her time and allowed herself to be slightly misunderstood. Living from her truth while letting mystery remain keeps her presence alive in people's mind. The unknown draws attention, curiosity, and respect. Let yourself be misunderstood. Let yourself be laughed at, being judged at. I love saying this on all my videos, but make it a habit for you to be judged by people. Make it a habit, because once you're on the other line of it and you just don't care anymore, you're free like a bird. You can do whatever you want. How to implement it? Notice what feels true to you, even if others don't accept it. Follow your own inner compass instead of conforming to expectations or trends. Speak and act from your perspective, and don't feel the need to over-explain yourself. Allow some mystery to exist. Being comfortable with being slightly misunderstood creates spaciousness in your identity. When you combine living in your own truth with a subtle ambiguity, people naturally feel they are encountering someone layered, alive, and magnetic. For her next point, we have her mission and inner direction. She didn't allow herself to be defined by a single role. Yes, she was an escort, but she didn't stop there. She moved beyond it by giving her voice to her inner world through writing. She followed what she felt compelled to express, even when it went against expectations, judgments, or the roles society tried to place on her. Her life wasn't dictated by external pressures, it was directed from a deeper inner compass. She followed her mission here on earth. She followed it. She could have stayed an escort for years and years and years and years. A lot of people do this. Once they're an escort, that's the only thing they want to do. Once you're a waiter, you're a waitress, that's the only thing you want to do. It's like your ambition and your higher calling is just dead because of security. But if I stay in this job, at least I know that my food is going to be on my table the next day. She didn't care. She followed her core self, her internal center, and she did what she needed to do. She became the best writer. And yes, people still judge her to this day. Oh, but you were an escort. She doesn't care. So it feels so magnetic because energy that flows from within is cohesive and undeniable. It is literally God telling you, okay, you are here for this. This is your mission. Like, act on it daily, and it takes you off so far in life. The results are immense. People are going to look at you like you're just lucky. But you're not lucky. You're just smart and you followed your internal center. When someone acts from their own truth rather than following imposed rules, their present feels guided, focused, and magnetic. People sense that the choices aren't random, they are intentional. To implement it, pay attention to what pulls you from inside, not what you think you should do to please others. take small action that follow that inner guidance, even if they feel unusual or ahead of their time. Over time, your life begins to feel intentional. And that intentionality itself radiates as presence, authority, and magnetism. She never ran from her experience or tried to erase them. Every part of her struggles, her desires, her mistakes, became material for insight, expression, and reflection. She transformed her story into something meaningful, giving it language and presence rather than letting it remain hidden or shameful. And it creates depth because nothing in her life was wasted. Never regret anything. Everything in your life, it was important for you to learn something. So if you continue here, she was never seeking any approval or validation. She was also really comfortable with discomfort. She didn't bend herself to please others or fit into expectations. She knew who she was and she was going to stick with it no matter what. That's why a lot of people misunderstood her and judged her because she wasn't trying to fit in or trying to be pleased. She was just being her true self. You let life be the way it is. You're not trying to control anything. You're not trying to change anything. You are just being, and by being, you are being present. And when you are being present, your magnetism is just powerful and strong. If you want to implement this, you have to be used to being uncomfortable when you feel uncomfortable, especially when there's people around you. The moment you learn how to be comfortable with being uncomfortable in front of people, you're steps ahead because most people, they just try to hide or they try to manage or they try to do something about it. When you shouldn't do anything about it, you should just exist with them. The other point here is that this mystery and not fully explaining herself, she didn't simplify herself. Even when others tried to misunderstand or misjudge her, she didn't make efforts to explain her points. A lot of people were just questioning it instead of understanding it. So she would explain it, but people are just wasting their time. Even when she did really take the time to explain her point, people were just like, this doesn't make sense. This is crazy. This is absurd. That's why you should never try to fully explain yourself to people because some people, they just don't want to hear it. Even if you are taking your time showing them a PowerPoint and explaining point to point to point, some people, they just don't want to hear it. She is both accessible and untouchable. She communicates openly, yet her depth can be reduced. This tension keeps people engaged, curious, and drawn in. And if you want to implement this, speak your truth fully, even if people seem unwilling or slow to understand. That's their problem, not yours. Don't simplify to make yourself digestible. This creates a presence that is stimulatingly relatable and magnetic, leaving space for others to come closer on their own terms. And for my last point on her, she acted as a mirror. When you become super magnetic, you become a mirror for people. I've realized this. Oh my God, that's so true. Yeah, you become a mirror for people. So when people question you on things, it's because within themselves, it sets a worth. It's like, okay, for example, I was literally sitting on the couch and like just being, and this older lady was like, yeah, you're not working? And I was like, no, I'm not working. And then she had so many questions and like, she was like, what? But I was a mirror for her because in her world, if you're not working, you're not worthy of anything. You see, so when you become magnetic and you have aura, you become a mirror. See how people talk to you, the questions they ask you, how they compliment you, or how they were disagreeing with you. It's never about you, it's always about them. And in her case, Nelly Arcan's case, she was a huge mirror in Quebec. Even when she was interviewed by hosts here in Montreal, she was a huge mirror. Oh, but why did you do this? Why did you do that? It's like the question they would ask, it was related with their own worth.
Eh oui.
La sexualité et la pornographie sont au cœur de vos romans, particulièrement les deux premiers. Et vous dites que vous écrivez le sexe de façon très mécanique. Vous dites que votre écriture est castrante et que vous refusez de faire bander. Pourquoi?
Oui, c'est vrai que mon écriture, elle n'est pas...
Ça a failli, moi, dans celle-là.
C'est-à-dire?
Ça a failli.
Ça a failli, quand même, pas tout à fait.
Bien, Martin, je vais te donner ces deux-là.
Ah, merci beaucoup. Ça devrait fonctionner.
Oui.
OK.
Tu n'auras pas besoin de petites pilules.
Mais je suis dans une écriture très analytique et très décortiquante, là. C'est-à-dire que je suis je désérotise la sexualité. J'en parle tout le temps. Il y a toujours question de cul dans mes livres, mais je le décortique et donc ça le désérotise. Donc c'est extrêmement étrange parce que je vais justement pas dans le sens du bandant quand j'écris.
Vous êtes chroniqueur à l'hebdomadaire culturel Ici. Dans votre chronique du 30 août dernier, vous dites que vous avez frenché une bonne douzaine de filles ces dernières années et qu'aujourd'hui, frencher une fille dans un bar est devenu d'une banalité déconcertante et ne porte pas à conséquence. La question de Patrice Roy, est-ce qu'on peut savoir dans quel bar vous vous tenez?
She did this, so she's not worthy, yet she's here and and people are curious. It's like you're destructing something inside of them. But this is not right. She's not worthy because she was an escort. Yet she's here and we're questioning her, and she has a lot of aura and success and beauty. But yet she's an escort. It's really like that. She had a way of reflecting people's energy back to them, their desires, judgment, discomfort, without attacking, arguing, or confronting directly. She didn't push or react. She simply mirrored what was already there, letting it surface naturally. And this creates strong reaction because people feel themselves being seen without warning or defense. That awareness can be both unsettling and magnetic, drawing attention and curiosity. And how you can implement this is by practicing noticing people's energy and presence without needing to comment or fix it. Being anchored in yourself by reflecting without reacting, you allow others to feel themselves fully, and your presence naturally becomes compelling and unforgettable. And let people question you, let people do whatever they want to. It's never your problem, okay? All of this to say, I'm very happy to do this video because the more you learn about aura and magnetism, there's always the same patterns. Always the same patterns repeating itself. Always. And it makes me realize how easy it is to have aura. It is so easy, guys. Oh my god. When I was younger, I thought people that had aura was born that way, or they had something special about them. But as I grew older and I'm doing this research, they are so... There's nothing special about them. It's just your way of being, your way of experiencing this life. It's just that. You have to shift your way of being, the way you're expressing yourself, the way you're experiencing life. It's just that. Insane. It's insane. Wow. No, I really love this. But I'm happy I made this video, and I love you guys so much. I see people in the comments always commenting and showing up for me, and it means the world for me. Thank you. And my dream, it's not even a dream because I know it's gonna happen, but I see myself being this teacher in New York City and giving classes of magnetism to upcoming artists, upcoming celebrities, nepo babies, everyone, like everyone who just wants to become their most magnetic self. I see it happening. I see myself having a podcast and inviting celebrities, people like Bella Hadid, Kim Kardashian. I see it happening. And I just want to tell you guys, thank you for liking, thank you for commenting, thank you for showing up in my comments and just being here. I love you guys so much. And please, in the comments, give out your opinions. Say everything, say it. I just want to hear it, and I want to become better, okay? So this is a safe place to just be real and say whatever you want. For the conclusion of this video, okay, I forgot to do it. Altogether, this is what created her infinite aura. Not one trait, but a convergence. A body fully inhabited, a mind fully aware, a truth fully expressed, a self that refused to be reduced. Thank you so much for listening, and see you next week. I'm gonna drop more episodes and more personal videos on how to become more magnetic. Subscribe and see you next.